on the I-beam, that is the crane or girder, and we have inserted the hand chain on the trolley hand chain feet, and now this trolley can be moved in horizontal direction, forward and backward direction. Okay, that is a very smooth operation. If the full load is there, it's required only 15 to 20 kg pull on this hand chain. And this is our block. We have mounted the block on the trolley hanger. If it is a fixed suspension, then this hook can be hanged on the any sling or any fixed position, and this hoist can be mounted. Now we will explain this. This hoist is 2-ton capacity chain pull block. We have number of falls 1 and 2. This number of falls are 2 falls, and this is the hand chain, and this is the hand chain for the trolley. And now we will work this. This is the hoist. We can move like this. This is the upward direction. This is called hoisting. This is the hoisting, and we can go up to the topmost point. This can be the topmost position of the chain pull block. Position of the chain pull block, and when it goes in the topmost position, if it is a hook suspension hoist, then this is from the center of the hook of the bottom hook to the center of the hook of the top hook. This is called the headroom of the hoist. This is the headroom of the hoist when it is fixed hoist, when it is a fixed position hoist or hook suspension hoist. Now it is the trolley suspension hoist. Now headroom will be the bottom of the beam, the distance between the bottom of the beam to the center of the hook. When the hook, this door block is the topmost position, this distance h is the headroom of the hoist. In case of the trolley suspension, it can be plain trolley, it can be gear trolley. This is the lowering of the hoist. Then how this lowering is, that will explain to you how brake is applied. How the brake is applied, that will explain to you in this section. And when we put the load on the downmost position, when the load is at the 5 meter height, 5 meter, the bottom of the load block will be at the lowermost position, that will be the 5 meter lead, or it can be even 4 meter or 3 meter as the requirement may be. And when we are starting the hoist, we have to put the 25 kg to 50 kg load. Firstly, we have to put 50 kg or 25 kg, any small load we have to put, and then we lift it like this. We lift the load. If it is not slipping, that means it is correct. So we can remove that load, and then we'll put the load which is required to lift maybe 1 ton, 1.5 ton or 2 ton. It should never exceed the SWL, means safe working load. The hoist is marked with 2 ton capacity. That means it can carry 2 ton load only. It should not exceed in any case more than 2 ton capacity or any capacity. If rated load is 1 ton, 2 ton, 5 ton, that means we have to lift the weight lower than the capacity. Okay, suppose we are lifting the load more than the rated capacity, that means the extra load will come on the brakes as well as gears or any other parts, and that may get damaged. So never try to take the load which is the rated capacity load. Now we are looking for the do's and don't do's things, what we should be doing while operating the hoist. Ensure that load stays and other approved attachments are of correct size and seated in the hook saddle. This is the hook, and here we are attaching the load, and while attaching the load we are using some strings or some sort of the equipment that should be of rated size and rated shape. While attaching that attachment in the hook, that should be in the center of the hook. That should not open up, the latch should be always closed when it is operated. This latch should be always closed, so there is no chance of getting the load out. Ensure that load is free to move and clear all obstructions. Here, this is the traveling trolley. We are lifting the load here, and some obstructions are there in the path of the traveling of the hoist. That should be clear. The way of the traveling, that should be without any hazard. Ensure that the hoist, this hoist, batter and this load, that should be in one line. When we are lifting the load, this top hook, this hoist and this hook, this all three and the load, that should be in center and that should be in the line. Do take all slack carefully. Leave the few inches. When we are loading the hoist, we will attach the slings, then we will lift it and we will lift slightly about 1-2 inch on the bottom and see that there is no slippage. And if it is not there is no slippage, then you have to continue to raise the hoist. Until that, you don't proceed. Make sure that the personnel remains in the clear suspended load. When this load is suspended and the person, maybe the operator or maybe other person, he should not be close to the moving load. Do not use load chain as a sling. Wrap the chain around the load. Some people are doing that when this loose, there is no something to tie the load. What they do, they take the chain and they tie up the load with that chain. That is not allowed. Another thing, and when the load is sometimes the load is directly applied to the hook. That should not be at the tip of the hook. That should be at the center of the hook. Do not to raise load unless the load is centered under the hoist. Do not apply the load to the tip of the hook. Do not lift more than the rated capacity that we have seen. Do not lift load if grinding prevents equal loading on the load chain. When the thing is that load is big load and there are four slings over there, and if the load is not balanced, do not lift. Make sure that load is balanced. Do not use the hoist to lift, support or transport personnel. Sometimes people take advantage and they sometimes even person also sits on the load and he is also transported or he is also lifted. That is not allowed. Do not drag the chain or hook along the floor or across the others. When this chain is just dragged on the floor, it is dusty atmosphere, then sometimes the muddy atmosphere. In that case, when we are dragging the hoist or dragging the chain, that may collect the dust on the load chain, and this distance of the chain, pitch of the chain will be disturbed, and that chain will not be seated on the pockets of the hoist, load chain field. So it is always take care that hoist should not be dragged on the dusted or muddy floor. That should be cleaned before use. Do not leave suspended load unattended. Sometimes it happens that load is suspended, they have lifted, they have done their work. The people, they are working, they have done their work, they have lifted the load, but they are not attending further. And they are keeping that load suspended. That is dangerous. They should not leave as it is, they should do their work and immediately release the load.